to primarily work on to write SPARQL queries. So in the theory class, you have been provided with the description of the SPARQL constructs with sufficient number of examples. So I hope that that part is clear to you all. But again, as I have mentioned in the class, that the proficiency in writing SPARQL query will depend on how are you practicing. So it requires a lots of practice. It's not a kind of very easy thing to do. So you have to practice a lot. And I guess today's assignment will be a kind of a step towards that. So today we are having a set of very basic SPARQL queries which you will be writing both in the SPARQL endpoints directly, and after that, after you have written the queries in the SPARQL endpoints, then we'll try to see how we can uh, execute the query from Python program, and then how we can get the results and output the result in from the Python program, right? So the two most important SPARQL endpoints we'll be using, one is of course the DBpedia and the other is Wikidata, right? So this is the Wikidata homepage, but we'll be using primarily this query service. So Wikidata has got the homepage where you have got the information about different entities. For example, you have these many entities listed in Wikidata, right? But if you want to query the SPARQL database, query the Wikidata database through SPARQL query, we need to go to the Wikidata query service, right? So these are the two things you can make use of, right? And whatever query you will be writing here, we'll be taking those query and executing the query from the Python program. So basically, the Python program, you can see it's a very simple one. So there is nothing much to do here, but there is a component in the assignment where you need to write a piece of code where you will be doing a federated kind of query. So for example, you start with DBpedia and taking the result of the DBpedia, you query the rest part in Wikidata. So we'll discuss about that. So for that, you will need to write a piece of code. And I hope the Python constructs that we have used in the earlier classes, that will be useful, right? Now, going to the SPARQL DBpedia endpoint, we have written so many queries. So to just to start with, let us execute a query here. We have executed many queries in DBpedia in the class, right? So for example, which query should take? Maybe, yeah, so let us take this query, right? So we execute it here. So what we are trying to do here, we are trying to find out something that is a country, which is an instance of a country. Then we are computing the or extracting the total area of that country, and we are also extracting the value for percentage of water area. Then we are calculating the total water area by using some arithmetic operation like this. And then we are outputting this country area as well as the total area. But I'll just like to append something more here. Maybe we want to get the level. So this country, what you'll be seeing here, if you execute this, so let us execute this query first. If you execute this query, okay, okay, we should have a dot here. Right? So if you execute this query, you can see that we have got the list of countries and the total area followed by the water area, which we have computed, right? Now I want the country name. So here we are having this URL. So though it looks like a country name, but it's really one URL. You can see the URL which is coming if I hover the mouse over this particular thing, right? So you can see the URL, right? Now to convert this URL to string, we know that how we can do in DBpedia, right? So we just say RDFS label to be say country name, and here we will be instead of outputting country, we will be putting country name in the output, right? Now if we execute this, what we have the country names, right? You can see that we have got the country names, but you can see that we have got country names in different other languages, so you can use a filter, right? So you can use a filter here, just say filter, then you say lang. We are just extracting the language of the string, and the lang will be working on country name, right? And we want it to be equal to en, right? We just need the English names, right? So if you do this, so you see we have got the English names only, right? So this is one query we have written. Now let us see how do we execute the same query from the Python program. Now let us go to the Python program. What did we do there? Basically, we are using this SparkQL wrapper package library. So you need to install it first. Now after you install it, you just need to import the SparkQL wrapper functionality and the JSON functionality, because this SparkQL wrapper works on JSON data, right? So if you just import this, then we have this. So first thing that we need to do, we need to specify the URL of the endpoint, right? So we have written two URLs, two endpoints here. So one is for Wikidata. So the first one is for Wikidata. So this is for Wikidata, right? And the second one is, second one is for DBpedia. So this one is for DBpedia, right? Now the third thing you need to say that you want to set the query. So it will be just the query string you want to execute, right? We can just directly copy this query, which you can execute in the DBpedia SparkQL endpoint and put it here, right? So this is the query we want to execute. So I'm just doing this bit of formatting to have it in a better way. Yeah, so this is my query, right? And then, so you are using DBpedia, so that's why you have used this variable, right? Now we are asking the result in JSON format, right? So this is where we are specifying the format, right? And then we are asking for the result. So we are just saying the SparkQL D, then query, and convert it into a JSON form. So convert into a structure, right? So structure would be a kind of dictionary kind of structure. So here what we have got the set of results. So the result, result is a set of rows, right? So we can think this result to be a table, and this table has got different rows and different columns. For each row you have got different columns, which are kind of variables, right? Now these variables, they have bindings, right? So for what we have, for every row, you have different variables, and each variable has got different bindings. And how do we get these bindings? We just say that so you specify the variable name. So I'm specifying the variable name here. I'm asking for the value in the second index, right? Again, we are asking for this is the area variable which we are trying to extract, and I'm asking for the value. Water area variable, and I'm asking for the value, right? So if now we can see that we have got this country name, area, and water area, and accordingly we have got this variable name and the binding for this variable name, and this value is giving you basically the binding of these variables, right? Now if you execute this, so you can see that we are just seeing the result you have just observed here. So you got the country name area, then followed by water area. You have got the country name, then area, followed by water area, right? So this is very simple stuff. You have just executed one query, and you're taking that query to run from this IPython program or Python program, right? Now, one thing that you might need to consider that, well, so if I just give you one natural language query to write, so there is a natural language description of the query which you will be finding in the assignment file. But how to convert that into a Sparkle query? So for that, you need to explore the structure of, say, DBpedia or Wikidata. So in wherever you are running the query, you need to explore the structure. So the structure is basically the way the concepts and the properties are organized, right? So for example, how did I know that a country has got one area total property? So for that, you know that you are asking for the data about the country. So you go to any country data in DBpedia. So for example, we can go to say India DBpedia, right? So take any country that will do. Now, after we went to this India page for in DBpedia, now we can see that we have got something called area total, right? And what we have here, it is not a kind of string, it is one URI, right? So DBO is a prefix. In the bottom part, you can see that we are having the URI to be the dbpedia.org/ontology /area total, right? So you define this DBO prefix to be equal to dbpedia.org/ontology. Then you append this colon area total. So that will give you the total area of that country, right? Now, similarly, you can look for something, say percentage of area water, right? So again, you are using this DBpedia ontology where this percentage of area water property has been defined. Similarly, you can see that population total, long name, you can see that there are different things, right? So from this, you can guess that what kind of properties you can have attached to country description. And from that, you can perhaps write the query, Sparkle query corresponding to the particular natural language query statement. Now here you can see that we have used this DBO prefix, and we have defined this DBO prefix to be DBO, which is equal to dbpedia.org/ontology, right? So this is what we have done, right? And again, sometimes we need, since DBP is not really required here, we can safely remove this part. So this is not really required here, right? But we need RDF. So this RDF type is used from this namespace, and that's why we need to define the RDF namespaces, right? And RDFS namespace we also need to make use of. So that's why we have specified the RDFS namespace. This RDFS and RDF, FOF, so these are pretty standard namespaces. So you should not write something else. So that will lead us to something that is not working, right? So you should be using the proper namespaces, and these are pretty standard. You can just copy this from the query that I'm writing and in your program, right? Now, after you have written the query and tested the query and you are satisfied with the output here, then you come to the Python program and execute the query and try to do whatever you want to do, right? Now, so we have done something on DBpedia. Let us look at how we can do something in Wikidata as well, right? Now, as I have mentioned in the class, Wikidata has got a different way to visualize or I'll say or this provides an interactive way to write the query. So in DBpedia, as we were looking at the different pages, and then we are finding out the exact property name and putting those property names in the Sparkle endpoint text box. That is not really required in Wikidata, right? So that is the first thing. Now, the second thing is that in Wikidata, we do not really represent the properties and the classes with their names. We use some IDs, and that's why it's not really, if you are just going to use the IDs to write your queries manually, that is not going to happen. So that's why this Wikidata, they provides you a search service whenever you are writing your query. So that is very helpful. This is the second thing. And the third thing is the output, apart from this traditional JSON or XML, whatever it be, it also provides you some ways to visualize your data, right? We'll see shortly what kind of visualization we can do, right? And of course, after you have written the query and you are excited about what you have written, you can share that entire package with other person just by shortening that URL and sharing that URL in any place. It is a kind of executable URL. You just share the URL with someone, and if someone opens that URL, he or she will be able to see whatever you have done, right? So let us get started with Wikidata way of query. So the first thing we'll be doing, maybe we write a very simple query. So the simple query would be we extract the population of every country, and then let us take top, say, 100 countries based on population, sort them in descending order, and output them, right? So, and we know that how do we start writing a query? We just say select, right? So let us say select, and we don't write anything here. So maybe you can write, okay, so country, we want to have the country and say population, right? So these are the two things we want to have in our output, right? And then there comes the where clause, right? And inside the where clause, what we will be writing, of course, we have a variable, two variables, which we need to instantiate, right? So our first variable is country, right? And then we need to say that it is a type of country. So this, by naming it to be a country, that does not ensure that you will be getting only the countries. You can write anything here. So for example, you can write, say, item, then you have to write item here. But for the sake of readability, I'm writing it to be country. So again, I'm just making you mindful that this is not a variable that indicates that this variable will be a kind of country. You have to enforce that using a triple graph pattern, right? So how do you do that? Well, so the property namespaces in Wikidata starts with WDT. So this is the namespace which is already defined in Wikidata, right? So this is already in Wikidata. Then after you put this this particular colon, then you just say control space, right? And you can see that a search box is coming into your query box, right? So let me increase the font size a bit. That will help, right? So after you put, say, control space, it will give you a search box. Now you say, I want this country to be an instance of country, right? So this is an individual, which is an instance. After I have typed in insta, you can see that there are many properties that are in Wikidata is coming a suggestion list. So the first thing you can see that is instance of, and this is having one ID to be P31. So whenever you see WDT P31, that means that is an instance of relation. So similarly, you can have Instagram username, so which is P2003, or install capacity, Instagram location ID. So you can have many things, right? But we are interested in this. The first one, we select this, right? Now you can see that the identity of instance of is lost. So if you put this query to someone, it's very hard to say what kind of thing is this, right? Now you want something to be an instance of what? A class, right? So the classes and other things, they are kind of resources, right? So the concrete instances and the classes, they are resources, and as their resources, they are having also URIs, and to specify those URIs, we'll be using another namespace which is again defined already in Wikidata, which is WD, right? And you just say colon. After you say colon, again say control space. Now you want it to be a country, so you type in country. So you can see that in the first suggestion you have got country music, which is not something that we want. But in the second place, you can see it is a country, district, region in geography, right? A broad term that can include political divisions or regions associated with distinct political characteristics. So I think this is the exact thing we like to have in this position, right? And this is having Q6256, which is not readable by human. So you see, we are having something which we don't understand even we are writing it, right? Now I want the population size, right? So we will be writing WDT again. Now it's say control space and we will just say population. Now you see that the number of people have inhabiting this place. So we can see that this is the kind of thing we are trying to have. So do this, right? Select this. And what you will be having, we just say population, right? Now we are done with writing the query. So we are having only two triples in the graph pattern: country, the instance of country, and country has population to be some variable to be population. Again, you can write anything here or write anything here. So that is not really a problematic thing. So you just need to use the same variable here. Now, if we just execute this query, let us see what will happen. So if we execute this query, so you can see that we have some entries under this country column, WDQ16, and in the population column, we have got some values. Now you can see this is a kind of Wikidata entity, right? So as you can see the pattern, so all the Wikidata entities, which are the kind of resources we are talking about, either it can be a class or it can be an instance, particular entity, starts with Q. So every entity in Wikidata starts with Q, and every property in Wikidata starts with P. So this is kind of a URI indicating one country, but it is again not human readable. So we want the levels, right? So if we go by the DBpedia way, we could have used RDFS level, but Wikidata provides you with one Wikidata service. So there are different services that are also offered in Wikidata. So one such service is the leveling service. So if you want to just try to extract the level of this country, basically the particular string name associated with this URL, that you can do using service functionality. So you just write ACR, then say control space, it will give you suggestion. Now you can see there are three kind of services. One is Wikibase level. This level service provides you the kind of extracting the level or the string name of a particular URL, right? Around service gives you something like, given one area, what is the kind of other block that is associated with this area within a kind of given radius or something like that. And box is really, it is a bounding box around a location specified by a set of coordinate points. So we'll come to those later, maybe in the subsequent time, not today. So we are interested in this Wikibase level, right? Now, if you do so and try to execute this query, just give me a second. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I have done haven't done the necessary thing. So after we have used this level service to convert a variable to its corresponding level, you have to say LEBEL. So this is the kind of thing you need to append with the original variable name. The original variable name was country. We are appending this label with it, and that will convert this variable or URL, that will convert the URL which is bound with this variable into a label, right? Now, if you just execute this query, it is taking some time. Okay, so you can see that instead of having the URIs, we are having the names of the country and the corresponding population. Now going to the next part, which is basically we are trying to sort this, right? So we'll be writing order by, and we want this to be descending order, and the descending order would be based on population, right? And then we want to limit it, say, to 50, right? We just need top 50 country based on the population value. Now, if we execute this, today is taking a bit of time. Okay, so you can see that the list is sorted based on the population value, right? And we have just only 50 results. You can see we have got only 50 results here, right? Now it's a kind of tabular value, so I don't like this tabular value. I want to convert it to something else. So, for example, there are various ways to view this. So it can be a graph builder, it can be a line chart, bar chart, scatter chart, area chart, so on and so forth. But I guess the bubble chart would be the most appropriate for this query. So let us see a bubble chart way of viewing the same data. So if you just say bubble chart, you can see that the specific the population size in every country is represented by a bubble, and the bubble size is proportionate to the population size of that particular country, right? So you can see that we are doing a very nice visualization of the data, right? So this is one query you can write. Now let us try to see whether we can execute this in say from the Python program, right? So we have this, okay, the same query copied here. Now we need to change our SPARQL endpoint, right? So I need to change our SPARQL endpoint to W, right? So I need to change all these values. So this will be W, and this will be also W, and we need to change here also because our variables, they have changed. So we have got country label, and the population. So you have got population here, right? I do not have anything else, so we just have to strip this off, right? So I guess we are good to go. Now if we try to execute this, so let us see what will happen. So you see, we have got this People Republic of China and the corresponding values. So all the values that you have seen earlier, they are appearing here. So we can see that we have just copied this SPARQL query here inside this SPARQL Rapid program, and we have executed this. So let me try to write few more queries for you. So as we are talking about the assignments that are based on the astronaut, so let us write one query on astronaut in Wikidata, right? What do we write? Maybe we can just try to see the nationality and the birthplaces, right? So we have, say, so we have got astronauts. We have got one astronaut which we want to get as output. be careful about the spellings. We got to stick to the same string in different places. And then we want the the birthplace and the nationality, right? Nationality, and then maybe birthplace. So these are the three things we want to have, right? So here we just say astronaut. Let me use some other variable. Otherwise, the things you will be thinking that I am just using astronaut for astronaut. So that is not the case. I'm just writing item, right? Now here I need to change everything. So we have, so our item. So the astronauts, if we take any astronaut, they have the occupation to be astronaut, right? So you need to look for occupation, right? So let us go in the Wikidata way, WDT colon space and just say occupation. Oh, WTD, okay, WDT, okay, occupation. So we can see we have got occupation, right? Field of work, etc., etc. But you can also argue that, well, the person, the item can also be an instance of astronaut. So I don't know how Wikidata has represented. So okay, so I guess you can do it like this. You just use a path query specifying or and say WDT colon space instance of, right? So this is what you want. So then you just say the occupation would be astronaut. So you just say WD colon space and say astro. Do we have something here? Astronaut. Yeah, we have one astronaut. Astronaut person who command, pilot, or serves as crew member of a spacecraft, right? So we have found one astronaut here, and then we need to say that the item has got nationality, sorry, has got nationality, country of citizenship. So when we typed in nationality, it is giving me country of citizenship. So let us select this, right? And we want this to be, say, nationality, right? And then we want to get the birthplace, right? WDT. So let us see whether we have something like this, birthplace, and let us see, yeah, place of birth, right? And then we just say birthplace, right? So we are done with our queries, but for all of them, we need the labels, and we will be using the wiki label service for this. So we just say item label, then say nationality label, and then say birthplace label, right? And let us try to execute this query. So you can see you have got different astronaut names, the nationality and the birthplace, right? Now, I want that I need to know the birthplaces, but I want to view this on a map, right? So so you don't need to select this bubble chart for that. So okay, how do I get a map? Okay, so if we have something like this, then execute this. I need to check how do I get, okay. Yeah, so in order to put on the map functionality, so if we keep it like this, label, not a problem, right? So you need to know the coordinate of these places, right? So you say birthplace, and we need to find out the coordinate. And to do that, I just do the wiki way. We just say coordinate 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 location, right? So we get a coordinate location and we just store that in coord, right? Then if we execute the same query, so we get the same result, but why this map is not coming? Okay, I need to put this here, right? Now you can see that the map option has been enabled. So we need to put this coordinate variable here to let the program know that you have a coordinate value, right? So we just say map, and you can see that we are overlaying the data on Wikimap, right? So if you click on any data, you see it is talking about some person, right? You click on any data here, it is talking about a person, one astronaut, right? So you can see the different astronauts and their different properties, right? So you can see you can do many more things. So I guess I'll be stopping by showing you another query in Wikidata. Let us execute this anyway. So I guess you can execute this query in Wikidata. So yeah. So let us write the last query for this tutorial. So here we are trying to find out the cricketers, the Indian cricketers and their different properties or different things, right? So we start with select. We don't write something here. We just we leave this to be open and we'll be filling up this later, right? So we just start with where, and what we'll be writing inside where. So again, we start with something called item, right? And this item should have occupation, right? So WDT space occupation, right? So we just say occupation, or you can say WDT. So after putting colon, don't forget to press control space, right? So otherwise this search option will not be coming. And just say instance of, right? So we have got the instance of, and then we need to see this to be a cricketer, right? So how do we do that? WD, then control space, cricketer. Yeah, we have got one cricketer here, right? So then we want to say that this person has got nationality to be Indian, right? So WDT say citizenship. So earlier I searched with nationality. Here I'm searching with citizenship. So if we do that, we get P27 and the nationality would be India, right? So India. So India, right? Now, along with that, I want to get the female cricketers, for example, right? So WDT space, and for that we need to find out the gender, right? Gender. So we get a property P21 which stands for gender, and we want to make it to be female, right? Female. So yeah. Female to be used in sex or gender. So it will be used along with P21. We are using P21, so that's why we got to use the second one, right? So we have extracted the gender. Now I am imposing more constraint that we want the cricketers in the list who are living, who are not dead, right? And how do you do that? So basically, for the cricketers or for the entities who are dead, for them we'll be having a date of death property in Wikidata, right? And if we see that you do not have any binding there, then you can say that the other set apart from that set would be your result, right? So, and how do you do that? In the class we have discussed about that. We will be using, so first let us see how do we write that some item has a date of death, right? So again I'm just writing item WDT, say control space death, date of death, right? P570 and just say nothing, right? So this is some one way to say nothing, right? So this is a triple and I want to exclude this. And how do I exclude this? I just say minus, right? So if we execute this, this will give you the list of all the female cricketers who are living, right? Now, optionally, we have used optional graph pattern, right? So here I'm trying to demonstrate the case of optional graph pattern. Along with that, if the image of that particular person is available, I want that as output as well. So I'm just saying item, say WDT, say image, sorry, control space image. So image property is P18 and you just say IMG, right? Then optionally, if they have say date of birth, I want that as well. So item WDT birth, so just type in control space, I keep on forgetting, birth, date of birth, and what you have, let's take it to be DOB, right? And customarily, as we are doing in every cases, we just say service, use the level service, right? And here we are trying to do something else, right? So you want as output the item, right? And then the item label, then we want the item description. So item description contains different other descriptions about this entity in the Wikidata, right? You just don't need to do anything, you just need to say that description. And of course, for that, you need to make use of this service, right? So along with that, we will be doing something more, right? So it may so happen that for a particular person, you might be having multiple images, right? I don't want multiple images. I just want to sample one image out of it, right? So for that, I'll be using the sample function. Sample, and it will be sampling over all the bindings over the images, IMG, right? And we are storing that, we are doing a variable assignment here, right? And storing that in, say, image, right? Also, I want to sample the date of birth, right? So depending on the cases, you might be having different multiple date of births. I don't know if that happens or not, but yeah, so we are just making it to be a single date of birth, and we are putting it as to be, say, D birth. So this is the query. Now, in order to use this sample function, where are you sampling? So what you have a particular item, and for that particular item, you have multiple images. And you are trying to find out one image out of that. And for that, you are using one aggregation function, which is sample over the set of images that are bound with this item variable, with this image variable for one item. So as they are a kind of aggregation operation, we need to group or partition the data based on the item. So basically you have one cricketer. For one cricketer you have got multiple items and you want to find out one out of them. So that's why we need to treat it as a kind of partitioning the data into for different cricketers, and for each cricketer you are sampling one image, right? So you got to use the group by operation. So group by, and it should be on item, then item label, and item description, because they are having a single value for this item, right? So this put together, they are kind of acting as a key to partition the entire data, right? Now let us see if we execute this, what will happen. So you can see that we have this item label, item description, then the image, etc., etc., right? Now let us try to remove this and see what happens. We are removing this group by, right? So what it is saying that bad aggregate as a exception. You are getting an error, and you are getting an error to be malformed query exception. Your query is not well formed. So in today's class, we are talking about the syntax of SPARQL query. So this SPARQL query is not syntactically correct because you are using one aggregation function without a group by. So one aggregation function, so it may be a sum, it may be something that should have one group by, right? So there are some aggregation operations which require group by, and that's why it is saying a bad aggregate. So let us put it back again, right? So we get this. Now, it is not really a good thing to put this on map. So this data is, well, tabular form, it's looking better than a map. But if you see that we have got images, so why can't we have one, say, a grid based view? So if we just say image grid, you can see that it is coming into a grid form. So you have got Mithali Raj, you have got say Priyanka Roy, and you can see all the female Indian cricketers are coming over here in a card view form because you have selected the image grid view, right? Now, if you want to share this query and you want that with whomever you have shared, they will just see this image view of it or grid view of it without having one explicit choice. So this is how you can do that. You just say hash, then it is asking you what would be your default value, whether it will be a map, it will be an image grid, or whatever it be. If you just say image grid, then you can share it. For example, if you want to share this, you just go to get a link to query. Just select here. It will get you a short URL, and then you can share that with anyone you want, right? So yeah, I guess more or less I'm done with today's tutorial. So if you have any query at this point, I'd like to answer. So are we all good at this point?
Fast querying Wikidata. I wrote this one, but why am I getting no matching records found?
Barasha, your voice is breaking. I could not hear it properly.
Hello, sir.